Imagine a world with policies that work and credible leaders who actually care. Sounds a bit too good to be true, right? Well, Simon Anholt believes there's a surprisingly simple solution, and he should know he spent 20 years advising presidents, prime ministers and monarchs of over 50 countries. Simon joins us now from London to talk about his book, The Good Country Equation, which details how the world can be fixed and, get this, it can be done in just one generation. Is that true, Simon? How do we do that? Good morning.
Good morning. Well, it is true. Basically, there are only two things wrong with the world. One is the way that countries behave, and the other one is the way that people behave. So you said that, you said everything, but there's a recipe in the book for how we can change the culture of countries so they work together instead of working against each other. And I hope, that it's in their interest to do that. And then fixing people, well, that's a matter of education. So there's a big plan to raise a whole new generation of children who run towards the global challenges instead of running away from them.
Good point. Okay, how do you define a good country?
Well, I mean, in the context of the book and the Good Country Index, it's good the opposite of selfish. It's not good the opposite of bad. So the countries that rank low in my index are not bad countries. I'm not trying to make moral judgments on them. It's just that a good country is a country that manages to harmonize its domestic and its international responsibilities. So it does the right thing for its own people and its own territory, while at the same time doing no harm or if possible good to people in other countries and to other parts of the planet. It's as simple as that. Well,
no wonder we're pretty low here. We rank at number 41. Tell us what a country like South Africa could do, possibly, and who should we aspire to? I believe Ireland is way up there.
41 really isn't so bad. Don't do yourselves down. I mean, this is a list of 160 countries. So South Africa is doing well. In the latest edition, that makes it certainly the highest ranking nation on the continent. 41 is a distinguished place. That's where the United States was last year. So it's pretty good going. I mean, if you're basically in the top 50, then that means that net you're probably doing as much good to the rest of the world as you are to yourselves. So that's to be applauded, not to be criticized. In terms of aspirations, well, I just think that it's a different mindset for governments. They just have to try and remember from time to time this little detail called the rest of the planet and the rest of humanity, and just basically pass their laws and their policies and their projects through a kind of filter that says, is this going to harm somebody else? And to stop obsessing constantly with competition, because competition, although it's a good thing and it creates growth, it is killing us all. And we have to learn that life on Earth is a team sport. It's not a sprint to the finish. And this idea of America first, Germany first, South Africa first, it's getting us nowhere. So we have to learn to work together and understand that that brings benefits.
Okay, and obviously Ireland gets that right.
Ireland got that right in the first edition. When I launched the first edition of the Good Country Index back in 2014, Ireland came top. So what that means is that relative to the size of its economy, it was the country that did least harm, most good outside its own borders on the planet, which was a surprise to many. They haven't managed to make top again, but they're pretty high most of the time.
And I should imagine, Simon, that if these leaders get it right, I mean, other than making all of us happy, it must be incredibly satisfying for them, knowing that they are empowering people.
Absolutely, and the argument I make in the Good Country Equation is that this is not asking them to be saints. It's not asking them to sacrifice themselves. This is not about rich countries giving money to poor countries, even though that's still necessary, alas. It's a pretty old-fashioned idea. No, this is about taking advantage of the opportunities that the modern international community offers to all nations, rich and poor. It's actually to your benefit to compete less and to collaborate more. Part of the reason for that, and I show this in the book, is that the countries that work together on global challenges with other countries end up with better images. And the countries with better images end up with more tourists, more investors, more attention and respect from the media. They end up doing more business. So it's just like a corporate social responsibility amongst corporations. The companies that behave, the companies that support the societies that they work in end up with better brand images, and so they sell more products. And exactly the same thing is true for countries.
Simon, I love your positive outlook on life. Thank you for talking to us. And I know you had to wake up super early, so thanks for that as well.